Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson and welcome back to the Ben 10 Retrospectives. And today we're going to be talking about what the DVDs say is episode 16 of the original Ben 10 series, Framed. And in this episode, it starts with Ben, Gwen, and Max are standing in a long line for a video game release, which is from what it looks like. It looks like it's one of those games that's a re-release of an already existing game, but with some added features here and there. Of course there's people who are just waiting in line for the store to open or something. Is just ready to go, but Max and Gwen don't want to stay. So Max and Gwen leave and go to a bookstore and wait for time to pass. And Ben stays behind, of course, because he doesn't want to lose his spot. But once Max and Gwen are done at the bookstore and they come back to get Ben, they find forearms tearing apart the video game store, and they're just shocked. They're wondering what's going on, what's happening. But then during his rampage, he's attacked by a SWAT team that's actually created to deal with aliens, and they managed to subdue Forearms. I think I mentioned it was Forearms, causing him to run away. Max and Gwen are wondering what's going on, so when they get back to the Rust Bucket, they find Ben there just playing his game. They confront him, but he doesn't know anything about it, and when they show him the news, he's just he's just telling them, that's not me, that can't be me, I can't be me. And of course, they're giving the benefit of the doubt, but they're still doubtful. Well, mostly Gwen is, but... So Ben goes back to the scene of the crime, wants to find out what's happening, and while he's there, he sees the forearms alien, and he chases after it with Gwen and Max chasing after him, and he follows it to the Mint because they're in San Francisco. Probably, I think I mentioned that. I don't know. And when they get into the Mint, Ben and the forearms alien seem to have vanished, and Gwen sees Heat Blast attacking guards, and she finally confronts him, saying thinking it's Ben, until Ben appears behind her, then confirming that there's an imposter running around causing all this destruction. So Ben confronts the imposter while Gwen and Max get everyone out, and during the battle, the imposter actually reveals his identity to Ben, and it's revealed that it's Kevin from the Kevin 11 episode. And Ben, of course, is confused, and Kevin reveals that at the end of the episode, when the Omnitrix let off that explosion of energy when Kevin tried yanking it off of Ben, Kevin had actually absorbed all the energy from within had absorbed enough energy from inside the Omnitrix so that he could actually transform into all the aliens that Ben had access to at that time. And of course, since Ben was wearing it, all the aliens look like Ben's aliens, of course. So Kevin, unfortunately, there's still a cost to these powers. Kevin can't be human for very long before he has to be. So he's angry at Ben, he's getting back at Ben, and he's just pretty much doing all this to tarnish Ben's reputation, and also when we heard later, he's just nuts, and he hates the world. So Kevin escapes. Ben ends up dealing with the alien SWAT team, whose commander's name is Lieutenant Steele, who seems to have a vendetta against aliens. And after Ben manages to escape them, Ben is wondering what's going on, how Kevin is still active, and why Lieutenant Steele doesn't like aliens. And it turns out that San Francisco is not the first place that Kevin has hit. He's apparently been doing this in all these other cities, using all of his aliens, different ones here and there. And pretty much since Ben's aliens are in the news, Ben, of course, is getting blamed for all of this stuff. So Ben decides that he wants to try and prove himself innocent, and just at that time, Kevin races by his upgrade because he merged with a tram car. Ben goes alien, and while Kevin gets away, Ben is able to save the tram car, but then later, Lieutenant Steele winds up confronting Ben and winds up confronting the Tennysons, and because it turns out that after Ben managed to escape them, he sent spies to look after the Tennysons because he thinks that maybe he thought they're more connected to it. But at the time, just before he can get more information out of them, Kevin strikes again. So he goes to the Golden Gate Bridge, and doesn't really keep the Tensons under arrest for reasons I don't understand. But when he gets there, Kevin's Diamond Head. Kevin just beats the crap out of Steel, though it's all off screen. And just before Kevin kills Steel, Ben appears and fights Kevin. Kevin winds up shapeshifting through a few aliens before he reverts to human. And Ben, instead of finishing him off, just walks away. Kevin is just angry, saying, "Come on, fight me." But Ben says, "No, you're not worth it." And Kevin winds up getting so angry that he winds up transforming again. Except he winds up transforming into an amalgam of all. He winds up transforming into an amalgam of all of Ben's aliens. And so Kevin is just shocked at this. He's now even more angrier, and so he blames Ben because Ben's there, and Kevin just does not like Ben, and Kevin is able to easily overpower Ben. He's about to drop him off the bridge, but at this time, Lieutenant Steele had been watching the whole fight. He saw the whole thing, and so he orders his men to shoot Kevin with a giant what they call a concussion bazooka, which knocks him off the bridge and into the water below, and after Ben saves Steel because Steel had been thrown onto one of the supports. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it's probably a simple word that I just kind of derped out on, but Ben manages to save him from falling off, and later on, it's implied that Steel knows about their secret, but he's letting them go anyway because he realizes that the person they were chasing after was Kevin, and they leave, and we get a hint that Kevin might still be alive. So, yeah, I probably just spoiled the whole episode rotten for you, but really, I still think this is a pretty good episode, and in this case, I love Kevin, as I stated in the poorly lit Kevin 11 vlog, and because I love the idea of dark doppelgangers, and Kevin is the first show's dark doppelganger, because again he has all of Ben's powers, only he's evil and just uses them for whatever he wants, and this is kind of an example of that, and this is just pretty much seeing Kevin using the powers, and I mean I kind of from the beginning I knew that it was not Ben, because again the episode's called Framed, and even from the first scene of forms, you can tell it's not Ben because he looks a little more pale, and the symbol of the Omnitrix that's on Forms' his arm is not there, so you can easily tell it's not Ben. And you can quickly catch on that it's Kevin right before the reveal because his speech pattern is the same because of his speech pattern, and it is kind of a nice reveal because it's shown because Kevin can easily intersperse the aliens as well, because when Kevin does reveal it, he's just shifting through all the alien faces, and so before he finally reveals that he's Kevin, though he has Heat Blast body, so he has his head in Heat Blast body, but I just really like Kevin, and I think what I also like is the design, and I kind of like what happens to Kevin. Like, it's kind of a tradition in every Ben 10 series that Kevin gets mutated into amalgam of certain things, and in this series he winds up turning into amalgam of all of Ben's original 10 aliens. And it's a very it's nicely designed. It's got the body type of forearms. It has one arm is Heat Blast, the other's Diamond Head. The lower arms are Wild Mud. He's got Ghost Reek's grooves. One eye, this eye is a Gray Matter eye. This eye is Diamond Head's. He has upgrade shoulders, Stinkfly's wings, accelerates tail, as well as his speed. And he has Wild Mud's gills here on his face as well. He can open his jaw up like Rip Jaws, that's revealed in like a couple episodes, but again, it's just really nice, and I just love the design of it. I actually still have my action figure of the Kevin 11 design, which I would get, but I don't want to break this vlog, and I really should have grabbed before it, but it's just a really nice design that you really need to see for yourself, and it really is just kind of nicely well designed. And I think another thing I like is kind of that this episode has a bit of world building for the Ben 10 universe. Of course there were we learned a few episodes ago about the Plumbers, that they were supposed to be a secret organization that dealt with aliens. But after Max defeated Vilgax the first time, they disbanded. Well, what I kind of like is that this is kind of a bit of world building. Like, it's a response to Ben's actions as a hero, and just even recent activity. Because I mentioned how it's supposed to be an alien SWAT team or the Special Alien Containment Teams, or SECT for short. But pretty much it makes sense that this would actually be done because of Ben's actions throughout the series. It's shown that the world knows about his heroes because they're in the news. So of course it would make sense that maybe someone in the government will probably take precautions, because at this point they don't know if all the aliens are friendly or not. Like, all the Ben's aliens aren't, but then you got cases like Vilgax, which, with all the destruction, odds are some people did hear about it. And then of course there was Phil's little scamming stint to try and rebuild the plumbers. And I think it makes sense that that the governments would create an organization to deal with hostile aliens, because in Lieutenant Steele's case, in their leader, Lieutenant Steele, it's actually a case of a good character, because he's obviously battle hard and he's trained and all that. And while he is prejudiced against aliens at first, it is shown that he probably has good reasons, because they do show that Kevin's been busy, so he probably has dealt with Kevin a lot of times. So he probably assumed, and since all of Kevin's aliens look exactly like Ben's, it makes sense that he would probably assume that they're all just evil, and they're all just evil. And he is smart, because when he meets the Tennysons up front, he notices the Omnitrix, and while I don't think he knows what it is, he does suspect that they may have had something to do with it, and that's why he sends his troops, and they don't see Ben transform, but they do see Ben go out of the RV as Wildmutt, so they're able to tell, so he knows that they are connected. But by the end of the episode, after he sees Ben and Kevin duke it out, he sees Kevin shape-shifting and even turning into his amalgam form. It makes sense. I think it shows that at that point he's not a jerk. He is a nice person. He does do his job. He's a professional. He knows what he has to do, and but because of constantly having to keep up with Kevin, of course, he probably is not very trusting. And even when he sees the Tennysons, he's not very trusting of them until the end, where it's implied that he knows their secret, but because he obviously knows they're connected to the aliens. Two of his men saw Wildmutt jump out of the RV. But at that point, he knows that they got the bad guy, everything's good, so he lets them go. And I don't really see many moments where he acted like an idiot. I think the only 2 moments where I saw him act like a moron were when he had the Tennysons, and then he just let them go when he heard Kevin was in trouble. Because I think he probably could have he could have kept them he could have had them arrested by his men, which is probably what he should have done. Or when he went to confront Kevin all by himself, which I will state that shows he has balls, but it doesn't really show. It's a very dumb decision. I think he would at least have more backup beyond just the cannon. You could probably make the argument he was trying to distract Kevin so that they could line him up for the cannon, but for the most part, he's a nice character. I think my only complaint is that we don't really see much of him. In fact, after this episode, I think we only see him 2 more times in the entire franchise. Once in the first episode of season 4, and another time in Omniverse, which the less I talk about that show, the better. But I don't know. But again, he's still a nice character for what he is. And I think that's really all I have to say. I think the episode overall is a good episode. I like seeing Kevin again. I like seeing Ben going up against his dark doppelganger. I like I love the design for Kevin 11, and I like the bit of the world building. So, and it somewhat shows that Ben's aliens are having an impact, but not completely. So, yeah, again, good episode. Like the villain, like the setup. I like the world building, and overall, yeah, a pretty good episode within a pretty good episode. So, yeah, that's about it. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and tune in next week where we look at one of my personal favorite episodes, if just for the content in it. So, see you all next time as we look at Gwen 10. So, yeah. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson. I'll see you next week. Take care.